it was on, then off, and then on, and I was trying to crank it. Hey, it started up good though. I mean, so if the battery was working, because he has that little lawnmower battery in there and it's dead, if the box stayed on, I would say that it would have started, and then it would have started, and then it would have, or I should say, cranked the first time, shut it off, turn it on, do it again, because that would be the, whatchamacallit, the fucking, cranking fuel, or the injection when you first flip the key on.
Yeah.
Because during cranking, it had enough fuel to start, but there wasn't enough on the initial, like choke, I guess, if you could think about it like that.
Yeah.
So basically, when you first click the key on, it's gonna give a burst of fuel, right? And then during cranking, it's gonna give a set amount of fuel. That was the first burst, because once I cycled it again, it wanted to fire right up. Cranking, it can be enough, but it'll do that like stumble start thing. Yeah. There needs to be that initial shot. Yeah. You know the little thing on the throttle body, with the idle thing on top, you twist it in a little. On the butterfly, should be a little Allen head with a nut. Keep going. Keep going. Either back the nut off and spin it in or whatever. Oh, fucking hairspray that belt, man. That belt's we're gonna have to get a shorter belt. It's at the end of the tension. Oh yeah, this box is gonna have to be taken apart, I'm pretty sure. It's not that bad. Is it good?
It should be. I can't see it.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you, buddy. Alright, you guys, so we'll talk in a second. Let me get, situated. Put water in there. Harley's putting water in. So I got to change the clip on the wideband harness, because that one was he told me it's the same, and then it was different, this and that, very small stuff. But he put the car together and he was like, can you fucking finish it? I'm done with this bitch. I was like, yeah, I got you. And all that trouble shit, all that small shit, the FUELTECH development, the fabrication touch-up shit, like, I got to do that shit anyways. A lot of the small stuff people get hung up on, they'll start buying like fittings or this or that, and then they'll be like, I'm fucking spending money, and I like am, jammed in a corner with this, so they'll bring it to me and I'll make it simple, and I didn't know I could do that. Very small stuff though, like, it just depends. Sometimes people just need a second set of eyes to look at it, whatever. But anyways, we're going to tune this car on 91. The car will be switched to E85. It's on a development program, so instead of like one tune and him paying one tune, so coming over, getting a tune being done. I really like to develop the cars because these have a lot more available as far as like sensor stuff, traction control. We can really get far with these systems, and I have a lot of stuff I can add to the system. We have stuff we can fab and add to the cars. I mean, you guys will see on my videos like DIY and review and stuff coming up shortly, but with, trying to think of the best way to word this, right? With keeping an eye on the water, we got a burp it. Sorry, my mind's in multiple places right now. Thank you, Rick. But we got to do a wastegate dump tube. That's stuff that the owner, if he's not a welder, that would be stuff that would be hard to do at the house. Now, as far as the development of the car, because it's going from 91 to E85 to more boost, and it'll be going to events, driven for a short while before it's either sold or given to somebody else or whatever. We'll go through the full phase with it. It already has its own slicks. It already has a list of upgrades that go from here to that. And then I think that's where we're stopping though. That's where this car, you know how it goes. Some people build a car, they have it for a few years, they get rid of it, they either do something else, they take some time off, then they do another one later. This one, if it's liked, will be kept. Sometimes they get to be little headaches during the time they're done because maybe the budget goes over. It could be that, it could be time, and people kind of get burnt out on them. This dude was doing it himself, works a lot. Probably more so burnt out on time. Hopefully once he starts driving it and enjoying it though, it'll be good. I don't think there should be a leak anywhere. Everywhere we welded should be tight, but we do need a pair of pliers. Any pliers. No, pliers. But anyways, we'll talk again in a second. The car's not overheating. I'll tell you how I know that. Because it is 158 degrees water temperature. Bam, son. So, yeah. Do your thing, do your thing. But yeah, no, good guess on the overheating though. That would be those big ass injectors and it not being tuned yet, and blah, blah, blah. I figured the belt would stop once it got hot.
Yeah.
might be. That's what I'm saying.
Can you hear it now?
Good. Alright. So we need to do a software update on the fucking PC at some point. So this Alright. got a little bit of a heartbeat, but better. We can after we tune it, we can come back and do the idle because technically we don't have enough information. Well, yeah, because you figure we haven't even driven it to see what, you know what I mean? We brought it up to temp, but you go through. So basically, we got to develop the K20 A3 software for FUELTECH. We have a lot of Type S, a lot of base K24 stuff, but the K20 base stuff we did was all for con data. So the timing map, fuel maps, whatever, but timing map, at least to start to a fuel map, and some injector information for some different injectors, which these injectors, I didn't even do that for my car when they were in there. These are the same one. So I'm actually setting them up properly because they're not in his car. That's exactly why, you know, it takes more than one time of seeing the car or one session or whatever. Like I said, probably gonna have to adjust the injectors for his car because how much the injector offsets matter. On my car, I didn't give a fuck. We didn't have a problem, but it was because it's a drive-by-wire or wire car, and the car idles. So no matter what, it'll control the idle. So it was like idling good, even when it was wanting to probably idle like shit. This has just an analog cable throttle body, so that's probably if you look I need to lean it out a little, whatever, but the air fuels are rock solid. The fucking injector offsets are close. We're gonna turn up the base fuel pressure because no matter the fuel system, high output, low, whatever, the higher the pressure, generally the better atomization. These injectors do usually require a high amount of pressure, period, just to be happy. 55, 60 pounds generally because we'll run like 20, 30 on the turbo. So pumps, they can do over that. I'd like to assume all the pumps stop at 90 just because some of them do. The higher output pumps don't, but over that fuel pressure just sounds kind of crazy to me. Some of the guys on motor, on methanol and nitro, they run some crazy fuel pressures. Back in the day, they would run some crazy fuel pressures on like the high output drag cars because they needed the fuel system to go farther. But anywhere between like 40, 45 to 60, 65 is fine. I usually put them at like 55, 60. We're gonna do our once over, keep an eye on the temp. We're gonna drive it, and it's holding rock steady at 186. We drive it, it'll probably go up a little, but it's got a lot of airflow. Radiator's decent size. It's got water wetter. It's properly done. We probably do have air in there. We'll probably have to get the air out, so we'll probably shut it off, let it cool, do that before we drive. We need to have brake fluid, top brackets for the radiator. I got a list. So we're gonna go run some errands in it and do some street tuning. When it cools off, we'll get the full power tune on 91. Save that as a file on there. Get the BBT all set up because the BBT is still turned off. And then we'll switch it over to E85, get a full E85 map. Then you can either raw just switch fuels and swap the tune, which means even if it's like a slight mix, the wideband will actually self-tune the car. That's a good thing about the FUELTECH. It's pretty seamless. The wideband can do the open and close loop shit off and on and do it really well and manage the changes well. See how it goes. We'll come back and do a live in a little bit. I gotta figure out we're gonna do with the TPS. That's probably my next little thing right now because everything else we can kind of whatever on. But everything seems to be fine. Generally with these harnesses, I've done them so many times, they're so simple, you can pretty much guarantee it'll fire up as long as the settings are right. There is sometimes some things with the settings you'll read online or whatever that, these are the settings, you'll go to try, they won't work or whatever. But with the K stuff, the FUELTECH, Holotech, Motech, any of those, that stuff's pretty well documented. You're pretty good. You watch a video of it. Power output wise, 8 pounds on this will roughly be like 280, 265, 280. Honestly, I don't think it has a controller. We could add a 3-port. I have one. We have a manual controller. I got to talk to the owner. But I don't see why on 91 we'd even bother if we could go to like that 12 to 14. We'd probably just go to E85. I think that's the plan anyways. So the 91's probably more so just to get like, I guess, some data. So when we switch it to E85, it's easier. Because rather than siphon the tank, still have some left, do the E85, drive it, da-da-da, he was like, I'll just leave it here and you can go run errands in it and play with it and then do your tuning sessions, which is the way people prefer it because they know when them sitting here, we have some form of a time limit, right? Like, at some point you want to go home, at some point you want to leave. But at the point of how much this costs, you're like, no, dude, I don't want it back until you're done. So I'm not even going to hover over you, bother you, nothing. Like, this shit is not cheap, and I'm not trying to, like, make it sound like don't do it because it's expensive, but, like, setting the cars up, stock motor, turbo kits, some good bolt-ons, nice chassis, bushings, paint job, any of that shit, you know, nowadays 10 grand, 8 grand on a car is whatever. Some of that is probably towards the tune. For those $500 to $1,000 packages that include, you know, 2-3 tunes, when normally I charge like $440, $480 for a single tune, it's good because I can tune it on 91, play with it a little bit, figure out what it likes, doesn't like, do some testing, and then I can go to E85. Mind you, I'm not slamming gears, I'm not beating on it, we're pretty much driving it normal, getting gas through it, getting data, monitor everything, check everything, because he's going to get other things fixed with that we will just bill for. So like leaks or like little fixes, we just write those down and bill for it. So if you're at the point where you're like, whether you're the type that's like, hey, I'm just going to pay for it because I got money, or you're like, I know what I'm doing, I've got everything as far as I can, but I got to send it to somebody else to do things. That's why like the fab, the troubleshooting, the wiring, the tuning, the engine management, even some of the sales stuff, buying stuff, like me saving you money stuff, it's kind of nice to go to one person. And the other thing is, all those jobs handled by one person ends up being cheaper. So with like a $1,500 to $1,800 bill, it might be, you know, $2,300 spread amongst somebody else. And then also they might not educate you or work directly with you as well. So I like to be real close with my clients and show them what's up. Some hard wire. Alright, so we got 186 water temp, but we probably got air. Go ahead and let it cool down and top everything off, the brake fluid, get the brackets made for the radiator. I don't know, we're probably just going to run the AutoZone and grab a few things real quick. And then do that. We got to let it cool down to add the water. But mainly what I was going to tell you guys is it has the DIYs, the videos, technical support stuff like to help you troubleshoot. Fabrication, like I've got a lot of stuff going on with Ghost I can't show you just because like I want to show you at the end. Some of it's not really like DIY, like I'm going to help you do it because a lot of it is straightforward. Some of it's custom stuff that's like for my car that if you wanted to make one, if somebody's like, hey, I want to make that or buy one or whatever, we can kind of cross that bridge then. But in the meantime of doing all the client stuff, Ghost is getting a really nice overhaul. It gets some good performance increase. We're going to see some really good power in the VTEC range all the way to the limiter, and it'll just get more and more power as it gets to the limiter. So that type of change is, although, you know, one or two things and small and kind of minuscule, maybe not a ton power-wise, but that shape change in the power unit feels going to be great. Fitment and finish is just better. We've already started laying out things again, and I'm really happy with the way Ghost is coming out. So we're going to keep going with it. We're going to get all this shit done. I'm going to keep you guys up on client cars. As of right now, with fabrication and tuning and stuff, I'm really picky with what we bring in and stuff, so a lot of times I'm just like, nah, sorry, like, I can't do it. But hit me up if you need anything. We can kind of cross that bridge as we get to it. But, you know, I'll tell you this right now. If you ask me to do something, I'm going to give you a price, and if that turns into a problem or anything else turns into an issue, you're going to stop and I'm not doing it. So if you want something, you know what you want, or you go, hey, I want this, and I want you to do this, and I go, okay, so I'm gonna handle everything, it's this much, that. We work it out, and you want it quick and done smooth, that's the way it's gonna be. So, you know, let me know. There's not, you know, hey, I'm trying to get by, I'm trying to do this cheap, none of those words apply, because I already do a pretty good job of keeping you guys on budget. A lot of new people and clients, you guys know that. I save you money where you can. We need to spend the money where it's needed. So it's just the fucking way it is. So we'll be back live later. I'm gonna go work on TPS, all this stuff, but I'm excited. So let's fucking get to it. You guys will see Ghost probably in about 2 weeks on the road. Waiting on some stuff in the mail and finishing up the upgrade stuff. I'm actually gonna place one of the last orders for some of the stuff to finish up some of the performance stuff on the engine. And again, not like drivability, reliability. It's on performance. Make it run harder. Should be really good. So I will talk to you guys shortly. I hope you guys have a good one.